Krishna devotees, welcome to the Upadesamrita series, and we are going to discuss the second verse today and the commentaries of Shri Radharaman Goswami, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and Srila Prabhupada. So the verse goes like this: Atyahara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagraha janasangasya laulyam cha shadbir bhaktir vinashyati. So first of all, these six things which are mentioned, which are very detrimental for one's devotional service, I'm going to share the slide with you now. So this is Atyahar means overeating or over collecting. Prayasa means over endeavoring. Prajalpa means unnecessary talk, mundane talk. Niyamagraha has two meanings: either accepting uh, the rules and regulations like rituals without understanding the essence or reason behind it, or not accepting the essential rules and regulations. Both fall under Niyamagraha. Janasanga, associating with non-devotees, unfavorable association. And Laulyam, having greed for non-spiritual things. So let's see what Sri Radha Goswami he comments. First point: because sadhaka chitta is still material, prakrit, due to lack of practice, in that state only the factors detrimental to bhakti are mentioned. So for sadhakas whose mind is yet prakrit, because of lack of practice in devotional service, therefore in this state only such things are possible, such deviations or such malpractices are possible. So therefore they need to be more cautious of this. And those who are advanced devotees, they're automatically not interested in all of these. So second point, prayas means endeavoring for sense gratification, endeavoring for my own sense pleasure. Prajalpa means unnecessary talk or criticism. Unnecessary talk means any talk unrelated to Krishna or criticizing somebody, the worst of Prajalpa. Niyam agraha means persisting upon mundane rules, and niyam agraha means giving up certain vidhi rules without even having obtained raga. Certain vidhi rules could be adjusted and compromised when one obtains raga or lobha for raga, but giving them up without attaining that qualification is wrong. So third point, laulyam, he describes it as chanchalyam, restlessness like that of a prostitute, sometimes following jnana, sometimes following yoga, sometimes following bhakti. This kind of attitude is not good for a devotee sadhaka. He has to be steady in the practice of devotional service and make his practice jnana karmadi anavritam, uncovered by jnana and yoga and sankhya and karma. Otherwise, he'll be chanchal, somebody who is very chanchal, restless, sometimes doing this, sometimes influenced by that. Some wave comes in the society and his whole world is running in that direction, forgetting our duty in Krishna consciousness. So how is one supposed to attain the success by such kind of unsteadiness? Something like one example we can think of, like if you want to burn a paper like with a lens, then we have to be steadily concentrating and keeping that focus on one point to get the action started. Okay, if we don't focus, and even if we focus, if we keep moving our attention from one something to another, then it will not do the job, it will not create a fire, so our endeavor will be almost like fruitless. So therefore laulyam should be avoided, being steady in bhakti and giving up other processes. Karmi Gyani Micha Bhakta Ihate na havo anurakta. Narottam Das Thakur has also said. Narottama Ei Tattva Gaje. Now Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur comments. First point, Atyahara for Gruhatyagi means collection, and Atyahara for householders is over collection of material necessities. So Grihatyagi, by Grihatyagi, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is meaning somebody who has gone beyond four ashramas of brahmachari, like Avadut, like somebody who has gone beyond brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyasi. So he is Grihatyagi. He should not even collect. That means he is a bhikshuk. He simply begs and doesn't keep anything uh, for later usage. And for householders, over collection is of material necessities is atyahar. Second point, Jana Sangha means associating with sense gratifiers, womanizers, Mayavadis, pretenders, atheists, etc. Asat Sangha Tyag Ei Vaishnavachar. Our Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Krishna abhakt ek asadhu stri sangiyar. So there are two, especially these two people, we need to be careful of and keep an arm's distance from them, rather keep a mile's distance from them. They are Krishna Bhakta, non-devotees, and Krishna and Stri Sangi, womanizers. So keeping distance and not having Sangha does not mean that for needful we don't associate with them means we don't have loving exchanges with them or intimate talk with them like that, but we can definitely pray for them. We can definitely have a general talk with them. Suppose we go to marketplace for purchasing sabji, then we have to speak with the grocery shop owner. So he may not be a devotee, but we have to purchase sabji. So having a general dealing or interaction is not called as association. Association means sharing our intimate thoughts with somebody and asking them in confidence and those kind of things. When we involve our emotions in them, that is called as sangha. Third is niyamagraha. Third point means not accepting rules pertaining to swa adhikar. I have I have certain adhikar. I am in certain position while practicing devotional service. So certain rules pertain to that particular position which I am supposed to follow. And niyam agraha means insisting rules pertaining to anya adhikar or nimna adhikar once higher adhikar is obtained. Something that one should not do is not accepting the rules which are pertaining to the current position of mine. So if I don't do them, that is bad. And if I still very attached to the rules and regulations of my previous adhikar, which I have crossed and transcended, you can say, or surpassed, and still I'm being attached to them, that is also not good. Anya adhikar or nimna adhikar. Something like you can say that as soon as one develops pure bhakti shraddha, he is not supposed to perform any karma kandic activity. There is no reason, there is no necessity, and there is actually not just it is not necessary, it is recommended not to do that. It becomes obstacle in devotional service. That to perform karma kandic activities, it is not only not necessary, it is a prohibition not to do that. And fourth point, prajalpa is dangerous because it leads to sadhu ninda aprad. Worst kind of prajalpa is to talk bad about devotees. One may say, oh, but what if that bad quality is true and I am speaking about it? Will I get aparad? Answer is yes. Because Srila Sridhar Swami says the definition of sadhu ninda, ninda tu doshanam kirtanam. Ninda tu dosha kirtanam. So just to speak about dosh itself is a blasphemy or it's a ninda or it's criticism. Uh, what to speak of if the even if the doshas are true, we speak of them, still we get aparad. Then what to speak of if that doshas are not really there and then we speak of them? How much aparad we will accumulate? So best thing is not do that. Somebody who is in a position of a guru or margadarshak, he can correct his disciple in terms of helping him as a service, but others should not poke their noses into business of other devotees bad qualities. वैष्णवेर गुणग्राही ना दिखाए दोष, काय मन वाक्य करे वैष्णवेर संतोष. About Haridas it is mentioned uh, that he would always accept the good qualities of Vaishnavas and neglect the faults of Vaishnavas, and with body, mind, and words, he would try to please the Vaishnavas. So that is extremely important, crucial that we understand not to do prajalpa because it inevitably leads to sadhu ninda. And laulya leads to thinking other demigods to be independent of Vishnu. So, interestingly, this is how Bhaktivinoda Thakur takes it. Laulya means thinking other demigods to be independent of Vishnu, etc., and then trying to worship them. So that kind of laulya is uh, understood here. Let's see what Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur has to say about this verse. First point, Niyamagrahi means bhajanete udasin, karmete praveen, bahu arambi se niyamagrahi ati deen. Nice payar. Bhajanete udasin. Very indifferent to bhajan. Karmete praveen. And doing other sorts of activities, he is very expert. Bahu arambi. He will start many endeavors for sense gratification. Say niyamagrahi ati deen. He is very miserable. He is called niyamagrahi. Second point he mentions, if one is doing any of these, he is not bhakti adhikari. Echhay nahe kabu bhakti adhikari, bhakti hina laksha brashta vishay samsari. All these six, all those people who do all these six things, atyahar, prayas, prajalpa, niyamagra, janasanga, laulya, they are not bhakti adhikari, he is saying. Srila Saraswati Thakur is saying. Why? They are bhakti hin, laksha brashta, they are not focused on their goal. They're Vishay Samsari. How can they do bhakti? So, Laksha Brashta means one who has missed the point or missed the plot or missed the bus. So, how can he perform bhakti properly? Third point, by performing any of these, one will lose the tendency to follow Krishna, increase the desire of being the Lord of Maya's kingdom, and lose the power to understand that bhakti is the topmost. So, if we do any of these, whether we do prajalpa, talk nonsense, or atyagra, eat more than required, or collect more than required, prayas, over endeavor in other things other than bhakti, associate with bad company. So all of these will automatically, by this, one will lose the tendency to follow Krishna. Well, one will lose the interest, and one will lose the power to understand why bhakti is topmost. And it will increase one's desire to lord over Maya's kingdom. So all bad things will happen to him. Unfortunately. Let's see Srila Prabhupada what he says here. First point. When the individual jiva's souls are under the control of internal energy, their only engagement is satisfaction of Krishna or Vishnu. This is the position of Mahatma. So Prabhupada is quoting from Bhagavad Gita, Mahatmanastu Maham Partha Daivim Prakriti Mahashirva. Bhajanti Ananya Manaso Jnatva Bhutadi Mabde. If one is not Mahatma, he is Duratma or a cripple-minded person. Such mentally crippled Duratmas are put under control of Lord's external potency, Mahamaya. So, all these six things sprout from Mahamaya's world, not Antaranga Shakti's world. Second point, similarly, those who have no desire for Krishna consciousness and who are simply interested in possessing more and more material things, either in the shape of scientific knowledge or monetary gain, are all included under the control of Atyahar. So, very broad definition by Srila Prabhupada, scientific knowledge, gaining scientific knowledge of the things, more and more material things, is not required for a devotee. It is sufficient to gain that material knowledge which helps him survive in this world. That is sufficient. More than that is not required. There is no need to poke into scientific magazines and other things to understand how the material world works. It is sufficient to know that it works under Krishna's Prakriti. Maya Dakshana Prakriti Suyate Sa Characharam. And her works are, even Brahmaji cannot understand who is the engineer of this world. Then how can tiny brains understand in reality how Maya is working? Only thing we are supposed to know is Maya is working to trap us. And Guru Shastra are telling us not to get trapped in her. That is a sufficient knowledge. Vidya madhya kona vidya shrestha. So Krishna Bhakti Vina Vidya Nahi Ar. Mahaprabhu says the real Vidya is to attain Krishna Bhakti. Even Bhaktivinoda Thakur also mentions that uh, this Jada Vidya Sab Mayara Vaibhav Jivaya Kare Gadha. Simply one becomes Bharvahi. Bharvahi means Gadha, Gadha means donkey or ass. He just carries the load unnecessarily without any profit. So we don't want to carry so much of mundane knowledge for no reason. Whatever knowledge is required to perform devotional service or whatever material knowledge supports our devotional service, that is fine. But there is enough scientific knowledge of spiritual world is available that one lifetime is not sufficient. So why waste any time on any mundane subject matter? So these are some very beautiful instructions of our acharyas on the second verse of Rupa Goswami. What things a sadhaka needs to avoid. Krishna willing, next time we will discuss the third verse or probably the third and fourth verse together of Shri Upadesamrita. Hare Krishna.